right, so here we're continuing the notes for 1-2. We looked at these definitions in the first video. Now we're going to take a look at some of these examples. Okay, so our first example we're looking at, -3 plus 2. So I'm going to show you first with these couple examples a nice way that you can diagram this out and draw this out. It's a super great thing for visual learners and for anyone who just wants to be a little bit more hands-on and draw some stuff. So I'm going to start each of these problems off with what I like to call just a little like bubble, just a little like universe bubble kind of thing. So looking at example 1, it's telling me I have -3. If I were thinking about how I could represent -3 in this bubble, I could represent a negative with a negative sign. And I have -3, so I can represent -3 with 3 negative signs. Make sense? Okay. And then it's telling me to add a +2 to it. Well, I can represent +2 with plus signs in my little bubble. So I'm going to put 2 plus signs. So now we just talked about looking at that additive inverse. When you have, a plus, you have the same amount and you have 1 minus and you have 1 plus, or 1 positive and 1 negative. Those two things can cancel each other out. So while we're looking at this little bubble, we can cancel out one of those plus signs and one of those minus signs. And then we can also cancel out another one of those plus signs and those minus signs. So what are we left with inside of our bubble? You can see we have 1 negative left. So that means the answer to -3 plus 2 is equal to -1. And if we pause for a second, think about that. That makes sense because starting off here, do I have more negative numbers or do I have more positive numbers? Do I have a higher negative number or a higher positive number? I've got +2, but then I have -3. Those negatives win over the positive, which is why my resulting answer is still a negative. Let's take a look at the second example. So same thing, I'm going to draw this little universe bubble as I call it. So in this one, I have -4. So I'm starting with -4, so I'm going to start with 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus, and this time I'm adding a -6. So -4 plus -6, that means I'm going to put 6 more negatives in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now here, I don't have any positives I can cancel these red negatives out with, so I'm just going to count up what I have. There was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 negatives, or -10 as my answer. And one last example for example 3 here. Same thing, I'm going to start with my little universe bubble. So here I have +7 I'm starting off with, so I'm going to start with 7 plus signs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 12 negative signs plus -12, 12 negative signs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now I do have opposite signs, so I can cancel some of these out. Those cancel, those cancel, those cancel, those cancel. Okay, so I am left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives or -5. And again, that makes sense because looking at the numbers we're starting with here, we have 7 positives and 12 negatives. We have more of those negatives, so those negatives are going to cancel all the positives out, leaving us with a negative answer. So do not hesitate to draw it out when you need to. That's what this fabulous little bubble down here says. That's a little too bright, I think. When in doubt, draw it out. When you are trying these on your homework tonight, or whenever you're trying your homework, I want you to try them without the calculator first, but then you can check your answers with the calculator when you're done. Okay, we'll fill out the chart in the next one.